let me finish this. Okay, so you need a installer ISO file. And yesterday we went with CentOS. Okay, and it's very easy to download. You just have to Google it, simple. Just in Google type download CentOS. That's it. The first link you see is for the download CentOS ISO file. Click on download. You will see two options, version 9 and version 10. You can see here where my mouse is, version 9 and version 10. Make sure you select 9 because 10 is under development and that one is not stable. Okay, it is in beta phase. Beta testing is going on. In fact, I'll show you the beta version of Red Hat 10, which is again the similar one. CentOS and Red Hat are exactly the same. So when you reach here, when you select version 9, in the table below, you will have multiple options. If you are on a Windows laptop, you have to select x86-64 mirror option under ISO. Okay, just click on it. Let me just copy the link and paste it here. So this is the download link for CentOS operating system ISO file. It's going to be roughly around 10 GB. And then if you are on Mac, M1, M2, doesn't matter. Then you have to use ARM64 mirror. Okay, just allow me a minute, guys. Okay, so use this one. All right, once you have this downloaded, next step is to get the software which will help you create virtual machine on your desktop or the laptop. And we are going to use VMware Workstation Pro. Right, so VMware Workstation Pro, earlier it used to be a paid software, but now it is free thanks to the acquisition of VMware by Broadcom. Now Broadcom has made many changes into the licensing structure. Along with that, they made VMware Workstation free. Otherwise, it was like $200 or $300. Okay, so now you can get it for free. Again, how to get it? Google will help you. Go to Google and type VMware Workstation download. Okay, so VMware Workstation download. You will get an article. The first link is that from VMware itself. It's an article. It will tell you how to get your VMware Workstation Pro, a free copy of VMware Workstation Pro. It will be the exe file. Okay, so open this blog article in a new tab. Scroll down till you see the option VMware Workstation Pro download. Okay, I'm going to save this link again. And guys, whatever I'm doing on the notepad, you will get it on the Google Drive. I haven't created it yet, but don't worry, by tomorrow it will be ready. Okay. So this is the link for the VMware Workstation Pro. How to download? There are actually two steps. So when you click on it, it will take you to the broadcom.com support page. And there you have to log in. If you don't have the credentials for broadcom.com, no worries, you can register. Okay, so let the page open and then I'll tell you. Okay, so this is the login option at the right top. Click on it and then you'll get the register icon or the register button. Click on it. It will ask for your ID, email ID, and all those things, set a password. Okay, so once you have your account created on Broadcom, you can then again go back to that page, VMware article, and then click on this VMware download, Workstation Pro download. Again, it will ask you to log in. Okay, so now you have the credentials and now you can log in. So I'm going to enter my details. And there you go. When you log in, you will be taken straight away to the options page where you can select what version you want. For example, version 16, 17, 15. So I'm interested in the latest one, 17 for Windows. Click on it. Then what minor version, 17.62, 17.61. Obviously use the latest one. Click on the latest version. Now, finally, you will have the download link available. And here you will see HTTPS download button. Okay, you click on it, exe file will be downloaded. Now, what to do with that exe file? Simple thing, next, next, finish. Double click on it, next, 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 finish. That's it. Installation is done. So download and install VMware Pro. Right. So once you have these two things ready, next step is to open VMware Workstation Pro from your command, not the command, basically the start button. So from the start button, click on the start button, search for VMware Workstation Pro. So it is already installed in my system. Okay, so recommended is to right click and run it as administrator. Okay, so I'm also running it as administrator. It's running here. It looks like this. Okay, so it will look like this. So when you open it for the first time, you will see this home page. On this home page, three options: create new machine, open a virtual machine, and connect to a server. What is open a machine or open a virtual machine? It means you have created a machine and you have saved it as a template, as a file, and then you can open a virtual machine using that file. I'll show you later. Okay, so right now you have to create a new machine. So click on it and click next. Guys, you have to make sure that recommended option is selected. Okay, always go with recommended. Typical is selected, which is recommended. Click on next. Now here you have to select I will install operating system later, the last option. Don't connect the ISO file here. There is a reason. If you connect that ISO file, the VMware Workstation Pro, the smart install will kick in and it will install the operating system CentOS automatically. You won't even get to know what's happening. You will just see the installed operating system, which is not good. You are here to learn, right? You should learn and understand how the operating system installation works. That's why we will select the last option. I will install OS later. Sorry. Okay. Now click on next. So here VMware is asking you, what will you install? What operating system? Obviously Linux. Then what version? If you are installing CentOS 9, feel free to choose Red Hat Enterprise 9. Okay, or even you can choose CentOS 8 from the list. Here it is, CentOS 8. It doesn't have CentOS 9, that's why CentOS 8, but I would recommend you guys to choose Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. Both are the same. Click on next. Give a name to your virtual machine. Let's say CentOS. Okay, and click on next. It will ask what size of hard disk you want to attach to this virtual machine. Okay, so 20 GB is more than enough. Click on next. And now customize the hardware. Click on customize hardware. You have to verify that sufficient RAM and CPU are allocated to this virtual machine. First point here is to analyze whether your laptop or desktop is capable of allocating two CPUs, 4 GB RAM or 2 GB RAM to this virtual machine or not, right? So how do you find whether your laptop is capable? You open Task Manager. Task Manager can be opened by searching Task Manager here in the start, or right click on the start and you right click on this taskbar and then you will see Task Manager. Right click on the start button, then you will see Task Manager. Three ways. Even there are more ways. Okay. So open the Task Manager. On the left hand side, you will see performance options. Second tab or the second menu item is the performance. Click on it. Click on CPU. And below you will find the summary of your CPU. In my system, on my laptop, it says there are 16 cores and 22 threads or 22 logical processors. So out of these 22 logical processors, I can allocate 1, 2, 4, 8 CPUs to my virtual machine. 22 is a big number. Maybe in your case, it says 8 logical processors or 4 logical processors. Okay. So as I can see right now, my CPU is only 15% in use at max, and I have 22 processors, I can allocate easily 12 also. 12 or even 8, I can allocate this much. Depends on your hardware again. Okay. So 2 CPU is more than enough. Second, memory, which is RAM. Click on memory. I have 32 GB installed on my laptop, out of which 16.9 GB is available, which means I can easily allocate 8 GB RAM to this virtual machine. But I'll just go with 4 or 2. Okay. So what I'll do here is I have checked my laptop's configuration and I know how much resources are free. Accordingly, I will allocate the memory. Let's say I'll allocate 4 GB memory to this virtual machine and processors as 4 because I can. Okay, depending again on your hardware, you can also allocate four CPUs. Now close. Why are we giving high values? So that the experience is smooth. It doesn't stutter. Okay, and you don't have any issues right typing the commands and using this OS. So once it is done, once the allocation is done, you click on close. Okay, and you'll get back to this window again where just you have to now click on finish. When you click on finish, on the left hand side, you will see a new panel for the same virtual machine. It is telling you what is the hardware that you have attached to this virtual machine, the virtual hardware. So memory, processors, and everything. Okay. And guys, make sure to get rid of sound card and USB controller. Obviously, it's a virtual machine. You're not going to play movies and songs here. So get rid of sound card, which means you have to now edit the virtual machine settings. Click on that button, and then you'll get to see the same page again. How to get rid of any device? Click on it like sound card. Below you see remove. Click on remove. Again, USB controller. Click on it. You're not going to attach any external hard disk and all. Okay. So USB controller, click on remove and then click OK. One thing I forgot to attach the ISO because now we have to attach the ISO. Click on edit again. Click on CD DVD. And this time you have to use the option use ISO image file, browse, go to the place where you have downloaded. And in my case, it is D drive downloads, CentOS Stream 9. Okay. Double click to load it and press OK. Now your virtual machine is ready and you can now begin installing CentOS operating system. Okay. Power it on and let's see what happens. Okay. In my system, there is a thing called side channel migration. I have to disable it. It is only on my laptop. Okay. So I have to just do that. Power off. Go to the edit settings again. Options, advanced, disable side channel. Okay. Now power on. Now there will be no pop-up message. And what do you see here? It says install CentOS Stream 9. Second option, test this ISO file and then install. And third one is troubleshooting. So you have to select the first one. Select the first one, press enter. It will take some time. It is going to load an application which will help you install Linux operating system, CentOS Linux operating system. Okay. And that's it. So this is the installer application. This application name is Anaconda. Okay. So this is called Anaconda installer. It will help you install CentOS. First page is language selection. I'm going to go with English. English US is fine. Click on continue. It is bottom left, the button. Bottom right, sorry. And it will take you to the next page where there are some options which are highlighted with the exclamation, yellow color, red color message as well. Okay, so what's happening here? Now, these are various settings that you can play with before the installation. For example, do you want to change the time zone? I'm in India, so automatically Asia Kolkata time zone has been selected. If you want to change it, click on it. And from this drop down, you can select the time zone. Like if you are in Asia, all the time zones available in Asia will be listed. Or if the region is different, let's say Australia, then Australia related time zones. Okay, so you can select it from here. For me, Asia Kolkata is fine. Even if you can click on the map, like here I clicked, and automatically Asia Kolkata has been selected on the top. Click on done. Okay. Next one is software selection. It says server with GUI. Just a second. Yeah. Server with GUI. It means when you are going to install CentOS with the GUI, graphical user interface. You can change it. You can switch to server, minimal, workstation. There are many other options. We'll talk about these options later, but for now, server with GUI is the option to select. Also, it is the default option. Okay, so don't make any change here. In fact, you're not going to make any change anywhere. I'm just showing you that what you can do. Okay. This one, installation destination. Again, it is in yellow exclamation. It is highlighted. Let's click on it. It's basically telling you or is asking you what to do with the hard disk, how to install operating system. If you know partitioning, LVM, all these concepts, go ahead, select custom, and uh, create the partitions you want. Okay, if you don't know, you don't have any idea what is a partition, how to play with it, just make sure automatic is selected. Okay, so you just have to open this option and make sure automatic is selected and click on done. This installer will automatically partition your hard disk in a way that operating system installation is successful. Okay. Next few options, you don't have to worry. Okay, there is one network and host name. It's a good option. It's a, I mean, recommended step to set a name to your machine. Like I said it as CentOS as a virtual machine name, CentOS, I'll repeat the same as a host name. So this operating system also needs a name. You see this host name field, I'm going to say it is CentOS and then hit apply. Once you do this, you can also notice that some network activities on IP address has been allocated to your machine. I'll explain you how it happens. Okay, click on done. Again, we have just set the host name here. Lastly, you will see root password and user creation. So you have two options. Either you set password for the root user and create a new user here, or you can create the new user later on. So what is root password? Just like in Windows, the super user who can perform any action on Windows is called administrator. Administrator account is by default created on Windows. Okay. Similarly, on Linux, the super user who can perform any command, can do anything on the server, can remove any file, that is called root user. And we need to set the password for that root user. So click on root password. It will give you two fields. Type the password and confirm it. So I'm going to use CentOS as the password. CentOS, repeat it again. Since it's a weak password, you have to click done 2 times at the top. Okay, click done 2 times. And the password is set. And that's it. No more exclamation marks. And you are free to click on begin installation. Okay, before I do that, I see a chat. Can we add another network adapter? Yes, of course. You can add right now or later. Once the OS is installed, still you can add one more network adapter. I'll show you. Okay, so now things are ready. Click on begin installation. And now it's going to take some time. It will take, I think, 15 to 20 minutes. And then it will say reboot the system. The reboot button will be enabled, which is at the right corner. You can see my mouse, right? It is disabled right now. Then it will be enabled, green color. Click on reboot. Operating system installation is done. You'll be taken to the home page, the login page. Okay. So I've already done it for you guys yesterday. Let me just pause or hibernate this machine and let me resume the machine which I've already prepared. Okay, I resume this machine. So once the reboot is done, then you'll be taken to the setup page. This is the setup page. You will see this page. Welcome to CentOS Stream 9. After the reboot, this will be the page. Okay, click on Start Setup. Location services, turn it off. We are not interested. Connect your online accounts. Don't do it. Skip. About you. Now, this is asking your details. Root user is not a real person. It is just an account. I, as Amit, if I know the root user's password, I can log in as root, right? So it is asking, who are you? So normally what I do is I just keep the name as student. You can also do that. Student as the full name, and student will be the username as well. Okay, so we will log into this machine as student, not as root. Guys, keep in mind, you don't have to log in as root user because that is not recommended. Also, it is not safe. I'll tell you why. Always log in as a non-root user. Student will be a non-root user with limited access to the commands. If you as a student want to run some administrator level commands, then you can become root. The procedure is very simple. I'll tell you once we get there. Okay. Always log in as non-root, as yourself. Okay. So student username is fine. Click on next. Set the password for this user. Again, I'll use CentOS. Click on next and start using CentOS stream. All done. Click on it. And there you go. You are logged into CentOS operating system. And this is how it looks like. It will ask you to take a tour. If you're interested, you can take a tour. Otherwise, no thanks. Okay, let me go full screen and show you it this desktop properly. Hold on. Yeah. So this is how it looks. I hope it's visible clearly. On the top left, you see this button activities. If you click on it, it will show you one dock from the bottom, and some applications are already pinned on the dock. First application is Firefox, the same browser, Firefox browser. Okay, it's going to take some time to open. It is the first time, right? Click on activities again. Second is files. Files is just like my computer in Windows, where you can navigate through this through your hard disk. In Windows, we have C drive, D drive. In Linux, we don't have drive letters. We simply have one hard disk and multiple partitions. I'll show you how to deal with them later. Okay. In fact, let me open that. Okay, so this is how it looks like when you click on files. On the left hand side, you have various options: downloads, documents. Mac users will be familiar with this. Okay, and if you click on others, you will see your hard disk. This is the hard disk, which is labeled as computer. Okay, that is the same, approximately 20 GB. You will notice that approximately 2 or 2.3 GB is gone. Where is that space? I'll show you. Nothing is gone. It's all here within the operating system. Okay, so this is files, and this is the Firefox browser. Let me just close it. I don't need it. And then we have this store. Just like in Windows, you have Microsoft Store. You can download applications and stuff. Same thing here. And then help. If you want to know more about some components of this operating system, you can use this help. It is a kind of a GUI help, which is there. Also on the command line, we can access the same help. Okay, so these helps are for later, not right now. And then we have this very important application called Terminal. Click on it. It will open the command line interface where you can run the commands. The font is really low. Let me just adjust preferences, unnamed profile, and I'm going to switch to 20 pixels. Select. And now you'll get to see a bigger font size. You want to add more pixels, you can go to preferences. Let's say 22 maybe. Yeah. And this is it. This is the terminal application. Here you can run commands like ls command or df-h command. You don't know these commands, that's fine. We are going to learn these commands in the next slide, next module. Okay. Not module, next topic. All right. So this is the terminal where we are going to learn Linux. Yes, we are going to learn Linux here with the commands. Using Linux graphically doesn't need learning, to be honest. Just like your phone. First time you used Android, did anyone teach you how to use your phone? No, it was really intuitive, right? You power on the phone, select some options, green color button to dial up the numbers, go to the settings and make the changes. Same thing. You go to the settings. Okay, where are the settings here on CentOS? They are on extreme right. You see these three icons, group of icons, click on it. It will open a drop down and there you will find settings. Okay, before that, you have the volume adjustment, wired connect. It means your virtual machine thinks that it is connected to a wired network. Okay, although my laptop is connected to wireless Wi-Fi, but my virtual machine thinks that it is connected to the network using a wire, right? So if you click on it, it will give you more options to turn off the network and all these things, settings and all, network settings. Okay, and then you have the settings, actual settings. Click on it, and this is the settings page. Just like on Windows, you have control panel, right? The good thing about the setting page on Linux CentOS is everything is on the left, all the options. Okay, so network, Bluetooth, background, notification, search, multitasking. There are so many things. You want to change the background, the wallpaper, you can do that from here. Okay, and okay, one more thing, guys. By default, this virtual machine will automatically lock within 5 minutes of inactivity. So you have to disable the screen lock. Go to privacy, screen lock, none, never, off, back, power, go to power and make sure the screen blank is never. And the power mode is high performance. With high performance mode, you will get most out of this virtual machine. It won't hang, it won't lag. All right. I don't think you need to adjust anything else. Okay, so these are the options here. And then you have the last in the center. You click on it, you will see a calendar and the notification area. Basically, this is the date and time. Okay, so this is how Linux operating system looks like, closely related to Windows UI. Only changes are there is no start, which is replaced by activities, which is on the corner left. You can relate it with Mac actually. Okay, on Mac, you will see most of these, dock coming from the bottom and all these things. Right. Okay, guys, any question till now?
सर कोर्स क्या होता है? आपने 4 कोर्स दिए थे आउट ऑफ 16 कोर्स.
Okay, good question. Let me give you an idea.
सर ये उसमें भी आता है जब हम AWS पे मशीन क्रिएट करते हैं तो उसमें भी नहीं पता कोर्स क्या होता है.
हाँ, मैं बताता हूँ. Just a minute. All right, guys, you might have heard about CPU i7, i5, i9, Intel processors with 8 cores, 16 cores. What exactly is this? Let me actually show you visually. That will be more effective. Let's go to Google Images. Intel Core i5. Let's say i7. Images. This is how a typical CPU looks like. Okay. You have this silver color shield, and beneath this shield, you will have this CPU. Okay. So this is the first generation of i7, which was single core CPU. With under the shield, okay, this is the shield, silver color, right? When you open it, you don't have to, but if you open it, you will see this one single core. But these days, we have multiple cores, multiple CPUs inside one socket. This is one socket. And if I go down, maybe there are some examples. Yeah, you see this? Now this is multi-core. You have two CPUs, two cores of CPU, one single CPU as a socket. This one green thing is called a socket. Within one socket, there are two cores, one on the left, one on the right. Okay, and these two cores are capable of handling two processes at a time. So four logical processors, two cores, one socket. All right. Let me also give you more clarity. Multi-cores.
And CPU is just a term.
CPU is central processing unit.
Sir, in cores, in processor.
In processor, CPU. Okay, let me open this again. Here you see two cores. These are two individual CPUs. CPU number 0, CPU number 1. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means 7 core is having 7 CPUs.
No, i7 has, in this case, in this image, i7, Core i7 has only two cores, CPU number 0 and CPU number 1. Okay, so this is, I think, sixth generation. If I give you architecture of 13th or 14th generation, you'll be amazed to see what's going on. If there is an image, or we can say architecture, Intel Core 7, 14th generation architecture. Mm, I'm looking for something simple, otherwise you'll get confused. No, no, not this one. Okay, I don't think there is much on this, but let me see if it has Thunderbolt, RGNA, image processor. Okay, so for example, this. Now, this is the most updated version of i7, maybe 8th or 9th generation. And how many cores do you see? Core number 1, core number 2, core number 3, core number 4. Some area for the CPU memory, like 24 megabytes or 16 megabytes memory. Okay. And some PCIe lanes for PCIe connector connection. Okay, like that. This is even more complex image. Okay, but if I give you the numbers, if I give you the numbers of my CPU, which is on my laptop, which is Intel Core 7155H. Now they have dropped I with the names. They no longer say i5, i7. They say Core 7, Core Ultra 7, Core Ultra 9, Core Ultra 5 with the number. Like my CPU is 155H. Again, in the taskbar, you will see that information. CPU, what does it say? Intel Core Ultra 7155H. Correct? You can just simply Google it. The first link will be from Intel. Open it. Okay, and then you will see. So it says total cores 16. So in my i7, there are 16 individual CPU, CPU 0 to CPU 15. Total, it becomes 16. Number of performance cores. These are those CPUs which can handle two threads at a time, two programs at a time in layman terms. So 6 of such performance cores. Then efficient cores. If I'm running on battery, then these 8 efficient cores will run and they handle one thread at a time. They use less power and they run one thread, one program at a time. But still, it is good. 8 CPUs are working, which means 8 programs parallelly. And then if the battery is too low to operate, then ultra low power efficient cores will kick in, which are just 2. Okay. So total number of threads, 22. So how 22? 6 multiplied by 2, 12, plus 8, 20, plus 2, 22. Performance cores, if you have 6 performance cores, it means you have 12 logical processors. Double it because it performs two threads in at a time. It can handle two threads or two programs at a time. So that's why you have to double its capacity. So 12 plus 8 plus 2, it becomes 22. Similarly, in your case, so cores are individual CPUs within the main socket. Okay, the hardware itself.
So, sir, it has 16 cores, so it has 16 CPUs.
Yeah, 16 CPUs. But the characteristics of first 6 CPUs is such that it can handle two threads at a
Two
time. So
threads.
they are considered as 12. So first I have 12 logical processors, then 8 logical processors, and then 2 logical processors. This means total processors 22. Okay, you can also see here sockets. One socket is the one chip. Okay, again, one chip or one socket. Internally, it has 16 cores, and these 16 cores collectively are capable of handling 22 threads at a time. Okay, so in your case, maybe you're using i7, i5, 10th generation, 11th generation, 12th generation. The specifications will be different. Maybe in your case, it is 4 core, 8 threads, or 8 core, 16 threads, like that, right? All right, so let me get into the PPT now. Okay, so this was the practical to set up your virtual machine so that you can start, at least you start playing with the Linux operating system. Linux might be entirely new for most of you guys, but don't worry, it is, just like Windows or any other operating system. Why are we actually learning Linux? Why not Windows? See, when we compare our laptop with the servers, there is a big difference. Servers are meant to handle the industry or the business workload. Example, Amazon.com. On Amazon.com, as a e-commerce website, there are millions of users who are actually, logging in or opening this website. Your laptops are not designed to handle this much of traffic. Your RAM is not sufficient. The CPU is not powerful. Okay. There are many things about the hardware. In short, your laptop is not capable of handling that much load or the pressure. Okay, specialized hardware is required to manage that load. Okay, specialized hardware for what? So that you can connect higher capacity RAMs. Let's say 1 TB of RAM, 2 TB of RAM. Okay, you can connect multiple CPUs. Okay, so since we are talking about the CPU, let me show you one more thing. Let's say motherboard. The motherboard is that a chipset, or it's a big component on any device, laptop or desktop, even your phones, where CPU is connected. Okay, so for example, this image. In fact, let me open the images. Okay, for example, this image, it's a normal desktop class motherboard where you see in the middle, you see this yellow color block. This is the place to connect the CPU. Okay, so on a desktop level or a laptop level motherboard, there will be only one place to connect the CPU. But if you check the server motherboard, you will find that you can connect more than one. In this case, you can connect two CPUs, or in this case, you can connect four CPUs to this single motherboard. And just look at how many RAMs you can connect. These black slots are for the RAM. Okay, here also, so many black and blue slots for the RAM. The RAM can go in TBs, terabytes. My laptop has just 32. Maybe you have 32, 16, or 8, or even 4. Doesn't matter. But on the server, terabyte of RAM is again nothing. And you see this CPU connected with a heatsink. This is how it looks like. Again, RAM is not connected here. CPU with the heatsink. This is the server class motherboard. Okay, and to handle this much of hardware, you need specialized operating system. Okay, so Windows came up with Windows Server operating system for the servers. Okay, and Linux, in the world of Linux, there are so many operating systems which can be deployed on a server hardware, namely CentOS operating system, maybe Ubuntu Server operating system, and SUSE Linux operating system, and the most popular, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, so these are these server level operating systems when we are in the Linux ecosystem. Okay, CentOS operating system is developed by a different group of people. Ubuntu is developed by a different group of people. SUSE is developed by an organization by the name Novell. Okay, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system is developed by Red Hat, the organization, the company. Red Hat is really popular. Um, they started with Red Hat operating system, and now they have more than 50 products in their portfolio. Now IBM owns Red Hat. This acquisition happened, I think, 2 to 3 years back. Okay, so now Red Hat is IBM's product. Okay, Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system is IBM's product. IBM, I hope you know IBM, right? It's a big giant, more than 125 years uh, of history, right? So Windows Server, CentOS, Ubuntu, and all these. But again, the question is, um, when Windows Server was already there in the system, in the market, in the ecosystem, in fact, then what was the need of Linux operating system? Okay, so I'll just take you back to 1960. In this time, computers were there, but they weren't like the way we see them right now, like the desktops and the laptops. No, computers were really different at that time, and a different kind of software, um, I mean, was used to operate them. Okay, so in this era, a new operating system came into the market by the name Unix. Okay, so this Unix operating system was based on C++ compiler, and using this programming language, Unix operating system was developed. Okay, and this was really popular because at that time in 1960, it offered multitasking. Okay, you know what is multitasking? Multitasking means you can run multiple applications. Like on your phone, you open Insta, you open Facebook, you're also watching YouTube videos, or maybe on your laptop or desktop. Like me, I'm running PowerPoint, Excel. You can see so many tabs, so many applications are minimized. And right now I am on Notepad. On Notepad, there are so many notes opened. So this is multitasking. So at that time, 1960s, 1970s, at that time, multitasking was introduced by Unix. At the same time, multi-user support. Multiple users can log into the server and perform and do their day-to-day tasks. Okay, so the list of features is very long, but just to give you an idea, Unix was really popular at that time. Okay, and when some product gets popular, everyone tries to copy it. Okay, so all the other programmers who were into C++ wanted to know what is the architecture behind Unix, how it is so fast. It was really fast. It offered so many features. Okay, so everyone was after it. The problem was Unix was a proprietary software. Okay, so it's a proprietary tool. You don't have the source code available. You don't get to see what is the source code, what is the programming like. I mean, what functions are created. Um, Even for some time, people didn't knew that it is based on C++. Okay, it was later when the developers of Unix released their book on C++. Dennis Ritchie, you might have heard about Dennis Ritchie, the father of C language. Okay, he was part of the development team in Unix for Unix. Okay, so it's a proprietary product. It's a licensed product. You have to pay money, then get hold of the software, install it on the computer, and then start using it. Okay, so it was really popular at that time, and everyone wanted to sort of clone it. Okay, um, at that time, there was a guy from Poland by the name Linus Torvalds. So Linus Torvalds was studying computer science, and he was also fascinated with this Unix operating system because in his university, a kind of a clone of Unix was used by the name Minix, Minix. Now, I'm not too sure about Minix, who created it, and what were the features and all, but yes, it was a close clone of Unix operating system. And many universities used to use Minix to handle the workload, administration, finance. There are so many departments in the organization. I mean, in the university. Okay, so Minix was used. Again, it was a kind of a clone. So Linux thought of, why not I create a new clone, which is better performing or equally good to Linux. So around 1991, he started the development of his own version of Unix operating system and named it Linux. Linux. So Lin from his name Linus, UX from Unix, UX. Okay. So that's how it end up. Also, it matches with his name. Okay. So it started the development of Linux. Again, C is the base language here. And finally, he was able to create the first component of the operating system, which is called kernel. Okay, so this first component kernel is basically called the core of operating system, or we can also say it's the heart of the operating system. Why do we say like this? So kernel is not a new term, guys. Check your phones, go to settings. If you have like a Android phone, go to settings. If you have iPhone, go to about phone. Okay. In the settings, go to about phone or the settings wherever you find the about phone. Then you will find the software information, and under software information, if it is an Android, you will find the Android version and all those things. And below that, you will find kernel version. So kernel is there on your phone as well, on Windows, on Linux, on iOS, on Android, whatever operating system you name, there will be a kernel, a component called kernel. Okay. So what is this kernel? And it was a big achievement when this kernel was developed. Things to remember: kernel is that component, is that program which connects directly to the hardware, which talks directly to the hardware. Okay. There is no other component in the operating system which can talk to the hardware. So kernel talks to the hardware. It knows the language of hardware. Okay. So kernel and hardware are linked together. You can say like that. So once the kernel was deployed, wrapping around with some commands, then that's it's not a big deal. So this was really big deal. And even today, you can access the kernel of Linux store worlds, which is updated every day. Okay. Right now, the kernel version is 6. Okay. So this kernel was developed. Also, Linux store worlds kept this source, the source code open, which means open to public. The source code of Linux kernel is open to public. Developers around the globe can check the source code, can improve it, can add new features. Okay. So in short, they can contribute to this project. Initially, Linux, this Linux was as a hobby project for Linus Torvalds. So this hobby project got so famous, so popular within short span of time that big organizations wanted to get hold of it. Okay, even IBM tried. They used Linux kernel and they created their own operating system by the name AIX, which didn't even, I mean, it was not really popular. They had to shut it down and then they moved entirely to Red Hat Linux. And they obviously acquired Red Hat. Okay, so they also tried it. So Linux was really popular. And when it became popular, many group of developers came together and they thought of using the source code of Linux because it is open, it is free to use. The power of source code is you can download the software for free, you can have access to the source code for free, you can modify the source code, you can change the name of the software entirely and distribute it by a different name. Okay, so which means, like as I said, group of developers, they download Linux kernel source code. Okay, then they add some new commands, some new features, some security components, and all of this like that, and they package it by a different name. For example, CentOS, or maybe Ubuntu, or maybe Red Hat. RHEL is the short, or maybe SUSE Linux. So these are all the same Linux operating systems. Yes, they might have different commands. For example, if you want to install something on Red Hat operating system or CentOS, you have to run the command dnf install whatever you want to do. On the other hand, on Ubuntu, dnf won't work. You have to use apt command, apt install something. Or in the case of SUSE, you have to use the command zapper install something. Okay, so functionality is exactly the same, only the names are different. Okay, so if you learn one Linux operating system, you will be able to work on others as well. Okay, CentOS and Red Hat, they are exactly the same. Why? Because Red Hat actually acquired CentOS, I think 5 6 years back. Okay, so previously it was like this. The story of CentOS started like this. First of all, Red Hat came into the picture. They released RHEL. If you are using a open source code, whatever product you make, that has to be open source, which means Red Hat Enterprise Linux is also open source. So a group of developers took this source code of Red Hat and they created CentOS out of it. And this CentOS was really popular. It can be used on production servers. Red Hat knew about it and they finally acquired CentOS. Okay. So what about Red Hat? Red Hat is also popular. The thing is, Red Hat operating system RHEL 9, which is the latest one. So you can download RHEL for free, use it for free, um, but you cannot get updates for free. If you want to get updates for free, you have to pay a fee. That is called subscription fee. And with subscription, you get updates and vendor support. What is vendor support? Vendor is Red Hat of RHEL. Red Hat Enterprise Linux is the product. Red Hat is the vendor. So updates and vendor support means when you pay the fee, when you pay the subscription fee, you get access to the vendor support. Red Hat will help you if in case you are getting issues with the operating system. You can open a support case. Red Hat executives, technical staff will help you. They will fix your issue within 4 hours or within 2 hours as per the subscription level. Okay, and you will get timely updates. Security loopholes will be fixed and those updates will reach you as soon as they are available. Okay, so you get all of these things with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. What about CentOS? CentOS is also the same. You can download it for free, use it for free. Updates are free, but there is no vendor support. Okay, no vendor support means if in case you get stuck with CentOS operating system, you have to rely on Google, online forums. CentOS as an organization, they won't help you. But Red Hat will help you because you are paying a fee. And in the companies, in the enterprise, the projects or the organizations always opt for support products with support. Like Windows, it comes with Windows support. Red Hat Linux, it comes with Red Hat support. SUSE Linux, it comes with support. This is also a product, a Linux operating system with support. Okay, or you name other things like VMware, vSphere, again for enterprise, it comes with support. Support is really important. Until and unless you don't have the budget, you are a startup. Okay, you are part of the startup and they don't have budget for for every product support. If not, then they will use Ubuntu as Linux operating system or CentOS. Okay, or they will use open source applications, use them for free, and whenever there is an issue, they will ask their technical teams to get into it, fix it, or they will hire someone from external sources to fix the problem. Okay, so when you have the budget, when the enterprise has the budget, they always go for support. Okay, on the cloud, AWS, they offer support because you are paying the fee. They will support you. If you are facing issues on the cloud, on your cloud configuration, they will help you. Okay, so organizations always prefer products with support. That's why I said RHEL is really popular. It is on most of the servers. It offers support, right? Guys, any questions till now? Any doubts? Also, at the same time, let
सर
me.
आई हैव अ
Yes,
क्वेश्चन।
please. Yes, please.
सर आपने कहा कि विंडोज में भी कर्नल है जो हार्डवेयर से बात करता है और
Yes,
मैसेज
correct,
प्रोसेस करता है। तो बट
correct,
सर
correct.
विंडोज में तो जो हार्डवेयर से बात करते हैं उसके लिए तो अलग ड्राइवर्स होते हैं। एव मतलब हर किसी का अपना अलग ड्राइवर होता है
हाँ, absolutely correct. So
हार्डवेयर का।
kernel, हाँ मैं बताता हूँ. Kernel uses hardware drivers, then it talks to the hardware. ओके, सो हार्डवेयर ड्राइवर्स लाइनेक्स में भी हैं, उनको बोलते हैं कर्नल मॉड्यूल्स। विंडोज में हम बोलते हैं ड्राइवर्स। ठीक है, तो विंडोज की टर्मिनोलॉजी में वी कॉल देम ड्राइवर्स, एंड इन द केस ऑफ लाइनेक्स वी कॉल देम कर्नल मॉड्यूल्स। वो हैं अभी भी, आई मीन वो पिक्चर में ही है, वो मैंने बताया नहीं है बट वो पिक्चर में ही है, राइट? So we don't call them drivers, we call them kernel modules or simply modules. That's it. See, one small example. On your laptop, if you connect a newly purchased printer, let's say HP printer, you connect it via USB, you power it on, and on the, let's say, Word document, let's say this is the Word document. So on this Word document, you want to print it. So Control P, it will open the page, and guess what? You will not see the printer name here. Let's say printer name is FE 2300, HP 2300. You won't see that here. You have plugged in your printer, it's powered on. Why don't you see that? The problem is the Windows kernel is not able to recognize this hardware because the hardware's driver files are missing. So the next step is to install the driver files. Okay, so install the drivers for that product, your HP printer. How do you do that? Open hp.com, fill in, go to the support, fill in your model name, and you will get the driver files. You install the drivers, and next thing you will see the printer is listed here when you print a file. Okay, so this is the overall cycle, right? So we'll get into drivers and all later, but right now I just wanted to just give you an idea what is the role of kernel. It talks to the hardware with the help of drivers. Okay, all right. Quickly get into the slides. So the birth of Linux, as I said, 1991, Linus Torvalds began developing the Linux kernel as a free alternative to Unix. Okay, and using the power of open source, multiple developers around the globe contributed to this project, and it grew really big in size within no time. Okay, and yeah, so you talked about RHEL versus CentOS. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux is a commercial enterprise grade distribution with certified support and security updates. CentOS, on the other hand, is also a Red Hat product, but it is free to use, free updates, everything is free, source code is available. It uses Red Hat's source code. Uh, Only one thing is missing, which is there is no vendor support. Okay, so organizations with the budget of paying the fee, recurring fee, it's not a one-time fee. You have to pay it every year, so they can afford Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or they can go with CentOS. But one major change was introduced by Red Hat. Red Hat said, if you are a startup and you don't have the budget, but you want to run servers with Linux operating system, go ahead, use Red Hat Enterprise Linux. We will give you one license, one subscription, sorry. We will give you one subscription for free. Using this one subscription, you can run 16 servers. Isn't it good? What is the downside? The downside is, again, you have limited support because you're not paying any fee. So you have limited support, but you get free updates. Okay. So you use it for free, update it for free. You can run 16 servers with one single subscription, and you have limited support. So for startups, this is the way. That's why I said you can use CentOS or even use Red Hat, because in the industry, you will see Red Hat. Is there any difference between CentOS and Red Hat? No, it is exactly the same, only the support thing. Okay, support is missing from CentOS. Otherwise, the UI is the same, the commands are the same, everything exactly the same. In fact, let me show it to you. So I also have Red Hat running. This UI machine is on Red Hat. Let me power it on. Okay, you may find a different wallpaper, but that's not a really big thing, right? Oh, it started installation. I don't want to install. Power off, edit, mm, remove the ISO file, otherwise it will start the installation. I was teaching troubleshooting part or troubleshooting topic to a different batch. That's why it's taking a bit longer. Otherwise, the system boot up time is less than 10 seconds. And there you go. This is the login page. As a student user, I log into the system. And this is it. A different wallpaper, but otherwise things are exactly the same. Okay. You have the same activities, the same doc, the same notification area, the calendar, the same group of icons, the same settings, everything exactly the same. Got it? Okay, so again, guys, if you want to install Red Hat Linux, tomorrow I'll tell you how you can get a free copy of the license, 1 year for free, and then you can keep on renewing it. I've been renewing this free subscription for the last 5 years. Okay, and how to get the ISO file tomorrow I'll tell you. And also CentOS is also fine. Okay, it is the same. Okay, so it's your wish. Okay, guys, so let me go to the slide. Okay, so tomorrow we'll talk about Linux in DevOps, integration, containerization, automation, all these things. Okay, why Linux in DevOps? That is the main thing, right? All right, guys, so any doubts before I close? Any questions? Guys, if you are confused at anything, it can be as simple as a CPU. What is a CPU? What is a RAM? What is the role of RAM? Let me know. Okay, if you don't understand what's happening, uh, Linux and all those things, let me know. The objective is you should have the clarity before you get into interviews and jobs. Okay, Himanshu, I'll give you this PPT. Just give me a day's time. I mean, tomorrow you'll have this PPT on the Google Drive. I'll share the link with you. Okay.
सर कल
हाँ जी।
जो दो लिंक आपने शेयर किया था वो मैंने सेव
जी,
नहीं किया।
कोई बात नहीं, मैं अभी दे देता हूँ। जस्ट अ सेकेंड। तो अभी आप क्या करेंगे कि ये जो लिंक मैं दे रहा हूँ, इनको आप ओपन करेंगे एंड यूआरएल इनका कहीं सेव कर लेंगे, बिकॉज चैट में से आप आई थिंक कॉपी नहीं कर सकते चैट, करेक्ट? दिस इज टू एवरीवन। या ओके, ये दीज आर द टू लिंक्स। आई डोंट थिंक
वन
कॉप ओके, सो आई थिंक कॉपी नहीं कर पाएंगे आप, तो लिंक को क्लिक करें, ब्राउजर में खुलेगा, ब्राउजर से ही कॉपी कर लो लिंक किसी फाइल में या बुकमार्क कर लो। अगर और वैसे भी कल आपको गूगल ड्राइव
ओके
लिंक
सर
मिलेगा तो उसमें ये फाइल होगी। ठीक है, तो इसमें उस फाइल में सब मिल जाएगा। ठीक है। ऑलराइट गाइस, सो लेट्स
ओके
मीट
सर
टुमारो देन।
सर
या हाँ जी, हाँ जी, बोलो बोलो।
सर वो ट्रेनिंग का वीडियो अपलोड नहीं हुआ था सर वो
कल वाला
अभी। हाँ हाँ
जो
सर
कल का सेशन था वो रिकॉर्डेड सेशन अपलोड नहीं हुआ है?
नहीं।
नहीं हुआ, ओके, कोई बात नहीं, मैं आज बोलता हूँ, आज तो नहीं, कल सुबह बोल दूंगा टीम को, दे विल लुक इनटू इट। सम टाइम इट टेक्स सम टाइम ऑन द सर्वर टू प्रोसेस द वीडियो, क्योंकि जो वीडियो है इनक्रिप्ट किया जाता है ताकि कोई डाउनलोड ना कर सके, राइट? तो उसके इनक्रिप्शन में कभी कभी लग जाता है टाइम, तो वो टीम ठीक कर देगी। आई जस्ट लेट देम नो।
नो प्रॉब्लम।
ओके,
ओके
ठीक है जी। ओके देन गाइस, लेट्स मीट टुमारो देन। टिल देन, बाय बाय, गुड नाइट।
गुड नाइट।
गुड नाइट, बाय बाय।